Hello, everyone! Welcome back to another exciting episode of. We don't really know what the hell the name of the show is, but what the hell? We just sort of wing it. One of these days we'll have a name. Yeah, it's either TRI's Top 100 Crypto Review, episode 27. That's pretty impressive. There's also another name that we have for this thing. What's our spreadsheet? That's what I'm missing here. Kind of setting up on the fly here, everybody. A little bit sloppy on my part. My apologies. Okay, where is our spreadsheets? Over here. I think this is it, our little demo spreadsheet. It's fascinating how these spreadsheets build out so quickly. We've just been doing this for a year or two, but look at all the crazy pages and stuff that we have up and running here. And FYI, anybody who is following along the Korean barbecue plan, this is today was the last day of tax loss selling. That was this kind of stuff. Our Korean barbecue plan. Where is the Korean barbecue? I don't know where it is.
Six trades.
Yeah, I guess this is it. Oh, there we are. Yeah, Korean barbecue. But that's stock stuff. It just so happens there's a tab there. And one of the stocks that I was super excited about, I still am, love it, nitrous oxide play. I'm loaded up. I got about 40,000 shares, so I'm ready to rock and roll. But that's not the purpose of the day. Actually, we're having a lot of fun trading futures in the morning. That's not the part of this this call. We did this, the one part of the market that has completely disappointed me this past 6-8 months, the shitcoins. The shitcoins have done absolutely jack shit. It's been a little disappointing, to be honest with you. But what the hell? It's part of the market. Not everything's going to rock every day. What is doing really well? I think a lot of the names actually that we sort of have been reviewing over the past 6-8 months. I mean, some of these names have just gone absolutely insane. So, if you were able to hop on, I think, the sweet spot of this market has definitely been this DeFi build-out. The irony of it all is things like Doge, really, they're almost like a shadow of what they were at the top of the market there just even back in May. So, how ironic. Anyway, another fun, exciting episode, TRI's Crypto Top 100 Review. Yeah, I think that Crypto Top 100 Crypto Review. All right. I don't know what the hell the name is. But I do have a lot of fun with these guys. It's been a lot of fun getting to know students, not site members, but students. I'm always tickled pink that sort of new people to trading are enamored with listening to me do my craft and listen to my my mindless rants. I suppose at some point, both Nick and Derek will get to the point where, yeah, Brian, I know it. I've heard it at least 100 times before. And then the honeymoon's over, right? And then they start making fun of me and my shaving half my face and stuff like that, But anyway, but they're not there yet. And so we're still in the honeymoon. They still think I walk on water, which is awfully nice. Sort of, maybe, a little bit. Derek, did you write your level 3 exam yet?
No.
I don't
do very well at the end of the year. I'll take the end of the year off, basically. So I plan on kind of studying after, I guess beginning this next week, and then first part of January taking the test. So I know when to take a break. I've done too much.
All right. So maybe Derek's already getting a bit burnt out of the Beamish.
Well, not the Beamish, but a lot of content is just, my head is
well, especially options, right? Wrapping your head around that whole new language. And I don't know whether it helps or hurts, but I notice like students as they come in and they write the exam, they're kind of like, all right, I did it. Oh, phew. Kind of thing. So I'm sure you're looking at it going, oh, Jesus. That's what I got to look forward to. Anyway.
No, 100% I plan on finishing. But
all right. I want you to get that veteran tag. You want to make me proud. So anyway, Derek is, he is working towards writing his exam, isn't he? A wink, wink, nudge, nudge, nod, nod. And also in the group here tonight we have Nick. Nick is where is Nick? Nick is level 2. Did you just finish level 2?
Yep.
Oh, excellent. And I guess sounding very matter of fact, you wrote your exam, feeling pretty good about how you did?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
get
mean,
100?
I did not, and
Ah, so
I
close.
I messaged Kieran about a question because I think it should be worded differently.
Ah, Nick's gonna fight this.
No, I'm not
That's
going to fight
great.
anything. I just said for next session you should probably reword something. But
Okay, maybe we'll go because I always challenge all students. Can you show me a perfect exam, 100%? And how did you do on the level 1 course? Did you get 100 on that?
no, I think I got a couple wrong. I think I got like one multiple choice question wrong, and then Grim knocked me a point or two for some of the freeform questions.
Yeah, and he'll do that too, just to keep your ego in check if he thinks you're getting too close to that 100. Just kidding. Arr, arr, arr. Okay, so anyway, welcome back to the show, gentlemen. We debated whether to have us on camera or not. I don't know whether you guys snowboarding. JJ's going. Which question? Which question? Do you want to answer him, or do you remember, or not?
I'm trying to remember. It was around algorithms, and we had the exact same question on the quiz. And the answer was like it's essentially a set of instructions you can use for fundamental, technical, or quantitative analysis. And then on the exam, it said fundamental only, technical only, fundamental or technical, or none of the above. So I put none of the above, and it said fundamental and technical because it didn't mention the quantitative on the final.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough.
I think that should be rewritten, but I don't care about it.
Well, I like that. I think I told you that one newsletter writer that I subscribed to years ago, he would say, look, we put little mistakes in our sentences and stuff just because there's some people that actually like to find errors in what we do. So Nick successfully found what do we call it? Do we call it a bug, or when guys like write code and stuff and then they
Not
put
a bug,
bounty
it's a feature.
Out? Huh?
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Feature. Yeah, right. So technically, yep, you could write an algorithm that has quantitative factors in it. Yes, you are right. All right. We are, I guess, in our 27th week. We've been doing this a while. Suppose one thing we like to do is sort of check in on how our prognostication went. And it was interesting because I really did expect that right around Christmas they were going to knock her back down. And actually it took a couple extra days, eh? But I think on balance, I don't know whether would a -1 win here, or is that such a small move that it should have just been a 0?
So I mean that was about 4%, I guess. I think a -1 would win there. I think we say like plus or minus 3% is a 0.
All right. Well, long and short of it here, it looks like I pulled one out of my butt here. I suppose we have to go back to you issuing bearish calls, and then that way we know that the market's going to go up. And
Exactly.
Will do well, right?
I mean, last time I did it, it went down 7,300, so I'll take the 1,900. That was a better turnout,
Right.
I guess.
But and then Derek, you were MIA last week, eh?
Yeah, I was missing last week.
I guess we didn't get a vote from you. So if anything, we'll let you off the hook. Man, I'm wondering with such a small move whether we give Ben a pass here. But I think, and I don't know whether it's OKCoin or whether it's FTX. That's a really popular sort of crypto trading platform lately, eh? Binance. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I think they have forward contracts now, don't they? They're not just perpetuals. So we have, of course, December is a very popular derivatives month for things like forwards. And these places call themselves futures, but technically they're not futures. It's a pet peeve of an old futures broker and prop trader, which I used to be. But like anybody holds anybody to account in crypto. It's just Wild West. Historically around this December contract expiry, there's usually a bit of softness in the price, and I think that a good majority of those forwards contracts expired near the end of December. And a lot of guys, rather than actually taking delivery and going through the whole delivery process, they'll just liquidate the position, a day before the actual contract expires. So I think that's actually what happened here, and I've seen this happen on almost every single year that I've been in crypto. Other than, I suppose, the big 2017, 2018 sort of top there. And I suppose 13 was sort of the same thing. Market was, at that point, was very fresh, very young. There was, on TradingView, there was only probably about 20 or 30 of us that were interested in Bitcoin at that point. I remember, of course, into the end of the year. That was the year when a guy on one of the morning shows held up a Bitcoin QR code to the camera on like Good Morning America or something like that, and like literally the Bitcoin was stolen from him like within seconds. So that's my memory of the 13-14 cycle. So hats off, Brian, way to go on the call. But this kind of felt like it was like I've been down this road before. I kind of seen this before, so it was a little bit of unfair advantage for me. I suppose we'll come in at the end of the show with our prognostications for the coming week. But why don't we take a few minutes for the boys to tell Brian what a wonderful analyst he is and what a great job picking direction it was.
Awesome job, Brian.
Thank you. And Nick's not even going to touch that. He's not even going to give you anything there.
I feel like Derek did a good enough job there.
You jerk. I'm just playing. Fishing for compliments. All right, so, we went through, I suppose when we first did this, we went through and looked at sort of who were the top 100. I don't think a heck of a lot of names have really changed or come and gone. We seem to be having the same conversations over and over and over, right?
So, yeah, except for Luna shooting up the charts and passing everybody.
Yeah,
getting his market cap way up.
But, yeah, so, I mean, where was Luna? It'd be interesting, I guess. There's the stable coin of Luna. I wonder where Luna's stable coin is now. That must be up near the top, eh?
Yeah, UST is number 19 now.
And so it's there's Terra Luna. So it was 49 when we started. What is it now? Probably
it's now 9th.
9. So there you go.
Wow.
But I mean, the irony of it all is that I watched a really cool one of those time-lapse things on Twitter where they had like the most popular album sales of the year, and they went through the past 20, 30 years, and all the various different singers were all going up and down the scales. It seems like it's the same sort of thing here. You see some names go shooting up to the top and then fade away. So we'll see how Luna does. Can it hold on to its leadership position right now? Suppose how was where was Danny and all his name, was he even on this list when we started it off?
No, so Time and Spell and Mim for sure are now in the top 100, and they weren't before.
At least top 100, but they're not really in the top 10 yet, kind of thing.
No. Definitely
not. Okay. All right, so I don't know whether we want to update this, but it was a good sort of start. I've been, over the past few weeks, just kind of leaving it up to you guys. Where do you think we should take the conversation? And, people over there on YouTube, I think there's a few people over there. If you have something, Snowboarding JJ, I think Snowboarding JJ, you're pretty active on the site. I've seen that name before. So if you got something on your mind you want to look at, Richie, Adam, I did notice somebody today told me that it was super important to talk to the people that are watching the video, and I guess I don't know. There's something specifically that these YouTube influencers do. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's called kissing your ass, but I'm not really that good at it. So but I'll try.
Shilling products and offering discount codes.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to do all that shit. Actually, no. Actually, you know what? I do. Sorry.
You got your own wonderful product. TRI is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful product.
Well, there's that, but you know me. I'm terrible at advertising and selling myself, eh? And selling my products. I'm just awful at it. But I will say there is something that did catch my eye today, and I think everybody should pay attention to it. So if this comes off as a terrible shill, I'm sorry, but I was actually quite pleased. It was a big sigh of relief because I actually stopped trading on Binance specifically because I was worried that Big Brother was going to take a big dump on our Canadian heads here. But it turns out that Binance has actually gone and proactively reached out to the Ontario government, which is the biggest province in my country, and sort of made peace with them. And actually, Binance even has gone and registered in FinTrack Money Services Business Systems, which I gotta say, you know, this CZ guy, man, he has played this fucking cryptocurrency story like a boss. Every goddamn turn, this guy has just owned this space. I gotta say, man, this guy is way more impressive than Alan. Alan is Alan. But this guy, CZ, I mean, he has played this fucking game to a T. I'm so impressed with this guy. But anyway, long and short of it here is now I can go back onto my Binance account and play around in there. Because I'm telling you, you know, having an account, number one, you know, being the okay boomer kind of guy, needing these centralized exchanges to trade, you know, my sort of style of trading, if anything, not overly impressed with the illiquidity of Trex. And if anything, I was getting a little disillusioned that there just wasn't a place in crypto that I could go and have fun and trade. And it looks like I'm back hanging out on CZ's platform. So that's kind of good. So call it a shill, call it what you will. If you aren't on Binance, I get the impression that sort of as centralized exchanges go, this is basically the beast, the industry beast. And if I'm not mistaken, I think, I don't know whether TRI has a Binance referral code, but if you are a TRIer, then I would appreciate you guys, if you're going to sign up for Binance, use our code. But God, this is how terrible I am at these shills. Somewhere in all of this mess are these codes, but I haven't got a clue where. So terrible. I don't think it's in there. Maybe down in here. Might be in. I should probably get on this a little bit better. Anyway, in one of these, I think it's in this document. We have like the Binance referral codes and stuff, but I can't. No, doesn't look like it's here. Oh well. Okay, total waste of time. Sorry, everyone. But Julian and Stuart, actually, you know what this? There should be somewhere in here that they actually have the TRI referral codes. I'll ask the boys where they have it. So anyway, point here is that I was getting worried about these sort of legacy, platforms. And it looks like Binance has made peace with the higher ups in my country. So that's a big sigh of relief. Maybe if we're lucky, we're turning a bit of a corner here. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, so I kind of butchered that. Sorry, everybody. We should probably even have like referral links and stuff on here, right? Yeah, if you're gonna, I love how Ben created this. So cool. I really love this little app. Super cool. So they're probably the links, if they're going to be any links, they should be on here. And then, if I'm not mistaken, remember we did this originally. The whole purpose of this show was to try and help fund a booth in Decentraland, because I'd like to have these videos just running 24/7 in Decentraland. So if you would like to contribute to the project, there is our ETH wallet for this. If you get any value out of anything, who's here? Nick. I was going to say Ben, but Ben's not even here. And Derek, if they happen to say something that you go, wow, that's cool, I'll be more than happy to take the credit for their wisdom and use it towards that booth over in Decentraland. Thank you, gentlemen, in advance. Just kidding. And of course, anything I've always said anything I would split totally equally with the boys here if they felt like it. So it certainly isn't a one-way street. I guess going forward, if I was going to give you guys a shill, anybody who's watching this, and there's a few hundred people that watch this through the week, Sjord has finally got my 1980s website up and running. And, the really cool part about this is this website now is it's interesting to watch all the different pieces all come together simultaneously. So we recently brought on a gentleman who's just an absolute social media whiz. It's incredible watching him go. Josh, and he's just, look at what he's doing here. I love his, I mean, every time I pop into this feed, he's got a new little line going here. He's just killer. I mean, it's just the best. Josh is just so smart. And he's taken all of this stuff that I keep saying over and over and over again publicly, and he just articulates it so well. I mean, it's just so awesome. So there's like this stuff that's all coming together, and then Sjord, we've been working like dogs for the past 4.5 years on building this new website, and this website is so cool. I mean, how many websites do you go to when you log in? Look at this profile and all this stuff. I mean, I actually saw this the other day, and I was like, holy gee. Oh, hey, referrals. Hey, here it is. This must be it. I found it. But I mean, look at this. I mean, Sjord is just a boss. Look at this. I mean, it's just so beautiful. So recently, and this was the big thing, was Brian really wanted to have his 1980s website sort of tools from the rationalinvestor.ca website that I built forever ago. And now I finally have them. And I tell you, man, this site is just so killer. And it's just so nice and articulated. And we've even built really cool tools that, level oneers, I'm going to literally require you to be journaling. If anything, U.S. students, you got off lucky. You won't have to do this, but I would actually expect students to be filling this journal out. And actually, I'll even grade the students on how they're doing on journaling through the term. Fantastic leaderboard. I mean, if anything, this makes perfect sense. This SPY, we have some minor issues with data right now and what symbols we're using and, presentation and stuff. So, for site OGs and veterans and stuff, we gave everybody the opportunity to subscribe to this data, the overview, the dashboard for a very nominal fee, like, $8 a month or something, just because I wanted to get the business up and running and producing revenue. But as we go through, all this stuff will crisp up. But, what a great analogy of the market. Obviously the S&P 500, but, who's EWL? Do you even know? Do either of you guys even know who EWL is? Oh, it's Switzerland. Haven't you guys heard me talking about Switzerland recently? Isn't that bizarre? Like, it just keeps churning higher here, eh? So it was like on the leaderboard there a week or two ago when it was breaking out here, and it just keeps rocking. It's kind of funny. How about XLV? Who's this? This is healthcare. Is anything going on with healthcare that might be driving profits? I mean, it's beautiful that just this simple tool, EWT, isn't that Brian's been going on about Taiwan Semiconductor. Oh, what a surprise. Now we got the Taiwan capped ETF leading the charge. So already there, just off the leaderboard, we got Switzerland, we got Taiwan. Interesting how we have a couple of the American big tech indexes and stuff. It was interesting there a while ago. We also had on Mexico on here, was consistently on the leaderboard. So that's, and you've heard people talking all about this sort of, we're going to be moving away from China outsourcing. It's interesting how Taiwan's become a political bargaining chip in a way. And of course, Switzerland, and interesting, like if you actually look at the ETFs, like the euro has gotten really beat up recently. So a lot of these European companies are doing really well. So things like the euro, like the German stock index looking very strong here. And then what are the areas you want to avoid in the market? The Japanese yen. I would avoid that. And then bonds, just getting tons of bond proxies. And then lo and behold, guess what is FXI? Any idea what that might be?
No idea.
There was one area of the world that Brian's not overly excited about.
Over there in Asia.
What country in particular starts with a C?
Next letter
there's
H?
Canada. So I suppose Canada's just as bad. Because isn't Canada China's bitch anyway? They got their fucking troops running around our country right now. I'm sure you guys down in the States, and one day you're going to go, what the fuck's going on up there?
Wow, yeah, I'd be a little concerned about that one too.
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was released about a year or so ago. Very quietly, dear leader Justin invited the Chinese military into Canada to do military exercises.
Wow.
What?
Well, I guess when you're buying all the real estate, you can do what you want to do. It's like
yeah. Anyway. Okay, so just interesting. The areas of the world I want to avoid. What a surprise. There's China. Let's maybe just avoid large cap Chinese stocks right now. That just looks like a train wreck. So fascinating how this is really producing. But that's not actually the best part because this is a crypto show. Screw those goddamn okay boomer crappy legacy garbage things. Let's go talk crypto. And this is really cool. Because, I don't know, have you guys noticed, has crypto come off here a little bit just past couple days? I thought Josh, and that I mentioned this about the Twitter feed, the TRI PMA, the actual TRI feed. Josh is all over this. And I was so impressed. I was like, I didn't even see this. This is like, what is this, December 28th? So is that like yesterday or the day before? Actually, that's when he was tweeting that out. Hey, you better pay attention. And I don't know, has crypto come off a little bit? I mean, this is why I really wanted to bring this thing to market. Because this should help us immensely with just understanding the context of the market. You know, market got a little overbought there. And sure enough, we had to back off a bit. So, anyway, I was tickled pink to see this whole thing up and running now. So, you know, I don't know whether I have enough signals to have a conversation with you guys directly off of this tonight. But I would like to be making reference to this more and more as we go forward. I do find it interesting. Is there a theme that you might be sort of seeing develop out of all of these names? Maybe they're in at one particular part of the cryptocurrency universe that is dominating right now. What do you think, guys?
Well, I mean, I think you're looking for the answer being DeFi. I would kind of say that the top three aren't really DeFi to me. They're more like Matic's layer 2, but they're smart contract platforms.
Let's call a spade a spade. Smart contract platform. I like the sound of that.
And Aave and Uniswap are definitely DeFi.
Okay. So what I would just simply say is hasn't the whole smart contract build out of this particular cycle, hasn't that really dominated the whole crypto sort of space?
Yeah, it's been huge between Solana and Luna and AVAX. Phantom has had a really good run. Matic's had a really good run. Atom actually hasn't done a whole lot this year compared to the rest of them, but yeah, they've gone crazy. There's been some smaller ones. KDA went really big earlier this year.
Interesting, the little ones here. FTM. Any idea what that thing is?
That is another smart contract.
Is that Phantom or no?
That is Phantom.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. So, and look at this. I mean, beautiful W's. This is what I really want you guys to try and learn. I don't know whether that's in a reload zone there, but gee whiz. This is actually the DI. And so Seward's been able to calculate the cumulative DI here. Whoops. If I don't screw it up. There we are. And can you see the W's in the indicator? Oh, that's so beautiful. And actually even really nice divergence there as well. And this DI is actually an amalgamation of 15 different indicators and 3 different time frames. So technically it's an amalgamation of 45 different signals all wrapped up in one beautiful package. So, I mean, that's just beautiful. That's exactly what I want to see. And you can see what a great looking little W down there, eh? And it's just rocking here. So go figure. It's interesting that, you know, like names like this Aave. A week or so ago, we were talking about it breaking up from this inverted head and shoulders, and we've had, you know, yesterday we had a bit of a reversal day, and today we had a down day here. We're nowhere near the breakout, even still with all this negativity. And I just noticed that with this guy. Here we are sitting up here. There's the breakout down there. That's what is that? That's like $1.50, $1.60. And here we are at 215. So that's what? That's like 25, 30% higher than where the breakout level was. So even though crypto is kind of waffly, things like Bitcoin are these kind of names, they're not even pulling back here, which I find fascinating. Very, very bullish. How about MDT? Any idea what the heck that is? MDT. Oh, it's one of these little peanut pieces of poo. All right. And if anything, I love this about Sword. I mean, Sword tracks everything. So theoretically, this meets all our criteria to score it. Maybe do a little bit of due diligence there on your own. IOTA. I remember this one from last cycle. IOTA. That sounds familiar. Oh, beautiful W. Beautiful W. And she's off again. There's no quit there. I don't see any pullback. I thought this was a bear. Didn't that Beamish guy say that the crypto market was rolling over? I don't see any rollover there. Fascinating. So anyway, so those are our leaders. I suppose also too in our sort of basic package, we actually have a couple different ways to screen. So we have sort of the built-in screeners. We used to have a guy on the site, Da Vinci. I don't know why. Is Da Vinci living? Where is he? He's in like the Middle East now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he was in Dubai last time I saw him doing video. He was in Dubai last time I saw him doing videos.
Dubai. Do we call Dubai the Middle East? Is that the Middle East? Maybe it isn't. I don't know.
I think of it as the Middle East.
I think it is, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, it's kind of funny. When he was a student of mine, man, we worked like a son of a bitch to get him to actually be a good trader. He was pretty damn good, and we built this little algo while he was a student. I'm not quite sure if he even uses it anymore, but I suppose he's too busy eating gold-plated steaks, right? Wow, living the good life. Anyway, you know, this is one particular way that we screen the universe. This is looking for very strong RSI and OBV readings. Not interesting. Looks like the nifty 10-year benchmark. There's some funny looking symbols we're getting here. I thought that ZEC kind of crapped out here. Do you guys know the story behind ZEC? I noticed there was a pretty negative reversal there on ZEC the other day. I wonder what that was all about.
Yeah, not really.
I think there's been a couple people on Twitter that have kind of said they've given up on it. I know. So you know Kobe, his kind of partner on his show Ledger. He kind of came out, I think yesterday or a couple days ago, saying like, yeah, I'm kind of getting out of most of my Zcash. I think it was Ledger. It might have been somebody else, but there's been some negative Twitter sentiment on it recently. I think it's just one of those that it never got its traction back. I mean, it had a couple moments this cycle, but I feel like it's just getting lost to a lot of the other narratives.
Yeah, could be. All those Z. Remember there was a bunch of them. ZEC, ZRX. I seem to remember that was one. Anyway, I'm not really good at remembering those names. But anyway, I did see on this site the other, I think it was yesterday or something. See, there's another one, ZEC, and this is Z Euro. I don't know what that is.
That looks like it's Zcash versus the euro.
Yeah, it looks like it was trying to perk up here, and then somebody just came along and just pooped on the story. I guess that's all your Kobe guys. Look at that, ANKR. Any idea what they do? Look at that cute little bottom there.
I think that's the isn't that another like DeFi? I think you can use that on that one you can use on Aave. I'm not sure.
What a surprise if it is, eh?
I don't remember what Anchor is. I think it has to do with like liquid staking or something. But yeah, it's a DeFi protocol.
Anyway, so this is what Dav is telling us to pay attention to. We also have really basic, longer term, the Golden Cross, the Death Cross. Those are kind of fun. As actually you can see, we have quite a few screeners already built. And then there's Brian's crazy screeners, which you can get on your dashboard. I'm a really big fan of these key reversals. Also, didn't really see anything. I don't know whether key reversals work too well on crypto because it's 24/7, but I am going to be watching for signals, but I haven't really seen too much come in on crypto. The part of the market that actually I really like crypto-wise for here is my 50% rules. This is for U.S. stocks, so where is 50%? Here we are. For crypto, something like... yeah, we noticed a bunch of these. We're trying to bottom there the other day.
Can we look at that Ren chart, that first one? I like Ren a lot.
All right.
I haven't had any Ren since, I don't know, April or May.
Question is, where the hell's the best? Got too many charts. My head explodes. Let's go here. This is not what I want. Let's go here. Yeah, we'll go here. This one looks good. So, REN USDT on Binance. Since Binance is the shit, now they're back smelling like roses in my country. What do we make out of this? I mean, I can understand why the system would like this.
I do think it was saying the BTC pair.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was
Not that
BTC.
I'd really trade that pair, but that's what the screener said.
Ren BTC, you are right, sir. Let's see if it probably... The only, I'm leery about using the corn. Because in corn bull markets, it works wonderfully. You look like a genius. In corn bear markets, you look like an idiot.
That actually looks pretty similar, but...
I guess you can see this bottom here. So that's probably what the system saw. Not a bad check. And if anything, I love the level. That looks awesome. Ideally, that 50% rule, what we really want to find is down at the bottom end of a year range. So let's see. Yeah, look at that. So we're basically right down at the bottom of this annual range. Here's the thing. Do you believe in crypto? Do you believe in the fundamentals? I don't know what the fundamentals are. I'm leery about crypto having done its 4-year bull cycle here. So, yes, I know there are a lot of people on social media and stuff that are like, no, this time it's different. This time it's different. Of course, you guys on the site, everybody that knows me, as soon as they say this time it's different, that's usually what scares me.
I do think it's absolutely different in the respect that there are more reasons not to take your money out of crypto with DeFi. However,
there are more reasons not to take your money out or to keep your money in.
Yeah, to keep your money in crypto because of DeFi and things like that. But yeah, there's no way to tell if that's going to be enough to avoid a big 4-year bear or something.
Well, if anything, what it probably means is that the quote-unquote bear is probably pretty tame. I mean, could we just go sideways for a couple years? It's not a, oh my God, we're going to go down 99% or something. Maybe it's kind of like this, where we just sit in this range and seasonally this stuff bottoms around the end of the year. Do you see December, right? And then in this particular case, it looks like you got also a bottom about the middle of the summer. That was actually a little bit odd. Usually crypto rallies into the spring. It has a bit of a pause, and then it has its face rip into the summer. But on this kind of name, this dip, right, after Allen did his thing, this dip was actually pretty damn violent on a lot of crypto, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah, really.
Because you imagine, like, Bitcoin went down over 50%, and that chart looks terrible in that time period versus Bitcoin.
Yeah. So you can imagine, you're dying 1,000. Right, and that's probably half the reason why we want to be looking at this in USDT to get a really a clear idea of what it is like actually in money terms. So you can see, I mean, who knows what this person was. That was probably somebody panicking and just going, market order, just get me out of everything. And they just cleaned out the order book. But it's interesting how we did have to basically work our way right back down to the bottom there, right? So I guess maybe to speak to that other question, the way I guess I might look at that is, what does a weekly chart have to say? The one good part about coming in on a name like this is you can see that this is really where sort of the investors really fought the good fight. So my hunch is on any kind of bear market, we just settle in against this range. And my hunch is, you can see, once to the well, okay, came away, but a lower high. Twice to the well, okay, came away, but again, a lower high. And then here we are again. I got a funny feeling, especially if we change this to like a log chart. Yeah, so at some point, if you just keep coming back to this line, at some point it's going to give. And we probably have to come back down into these levels. And that's probably like the final sort of nail in the coffin that really drives the kids crazy and breaks their hearts. And I suppose you could even argue that you go boom and boom, there's your trend line. Sucks. That's the truth. And, you can start walking this up. So there's the next trend line. So you can see they've already come back to it once, and now they're flirting with it again. If we M out underneath this trend line, that's actually a sell signal, which probably takes us the rest of the way. So, is this a buy? Let's just call a spade, right? I mean, regardless of whether you like the story fundamentally, whether it's got a future, all that kind of stuff, let's put that aside. Let's just simply ask, is this thing moving up right now? And if I just go and buy it, I'm pretty good to make money. And I think the answer has to be an unequivocal no. Then you look at the context of the broader market. Is Bitcoin Wing? And is it rock and rolling? Keep in mind, we went through this part right here. And it was fascinating when we went through this. Because what ends up happening over here is everybody talks about the wall of worry. Where are we? Yeah, this right here. I mean, on a log scale, oh Jesus, it just looks crazy, eh?
Yeah, how about a clean one?
Yeah, probably better. We do a better chart there. It's a little bit hard to see. There we go. So, Bitcoin was a buy there. So here we are, way up here. Oh boy. I mean, really, this could go either way. But what we need, and you remember, it was as clear as day. The adults all came out and just threw money at the market. No ifs, ands, or buts. You get whatever money you want. And that's usually the end result of something like that. And my hunch is that actually, to mark the next bottom, we got to see the same thing. I haven't heard any panic out of the politicians. I haven't heard any panic out of the banksters. So, in fact, what I've kind of heard out of the banksters of late is they're planning on doing a rate hiking cycle. And actually, a really good sort of way for you to see the effect of the Fed is we'll go. We'll try and put on the Fed funds futures. The only problem is they always change the symbol, so you don't know what the hell the symbol is. I think it's ZQ, 30-day Fed fund futures. So this is now sort of our proxy for determining short-term interest rates. So if we go pin to scale on left, there we go. And of course, this is exact opposite. So a rising market like this means falling interest rates. So you can see when they took interest rates down to nothing, that opened up the spigot for basically there's them sort of, there's our normal interest rates, right? Tight monetary policy. Oh, fuck, the sky's falling, right? Take interest rates to zero. And what does Bitcoin do? Woohoo! Straight up from there. Now they're actually humming it on. Do we actually start raising interest rates? And probably the easier way for you to see that is if we go. All right, so now this is the inverse. So this is high interest rates. This is low interest rates. So now, hopefully you can see, what does the effect of basically taking monetary policy to nothing, opening up the spigot, what does it do to an asset that's supposed to theoretically keep the central planners honest? Well, you take interest rates to zero and basically just dilute the shit out of the system, money printing burr. And all of that money is just going to go straight into Bitcoin because you are basically inflating the shit out of the economy. So it's fascinating that, and this is an interesting sign for Bitcoin, because what it means is that Bitcoin, you can see the pivot here, right there. Literally, that was the day, and I guess this is a weekly chart. So that was the week Bitcoin bottomed, and it did not look back, right? And now we're starting to hear them talk about raising short-term interest rates. All of a sudden now Bitcoin's waffling. So it is interesting to see that this was through a rate rising cycle. And what they usually say is there's an old expression, 3 steps and a stumble. So I get the impression we're probably going to see sort of the same thing, that the initial interest rate increases are not going to be seen as really problematic. But notice we were sideways, 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 and then the Fed went into overdrive. And notice that overdrive of raising rates, this is actually, and remember Donald Trump was bitching and complaining about how short-term interest rates were way too high, he thought. Everybody who was borrowing money was getting absolutely killed by them having rates so high. The yield curve inverted, stuff like that. Lots of warnings about recession coming. And sure enough, Bitcoin basically topped. I think this was the 3 steps. And then once that was done, basically gone too far, they had to literally reset the system. As soon as they reset the system, Bitcoin went back into crazy-ass bull mode again. So I get the impression that Bitcoin can still work its way higher here. We just have to get through sort of the growing pains of them sort of getting off zero. Because you can kind of think, you might even argue, see, there's the 13 bull. So this is high interest rates. You can see interest rates falling, 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 falling. As soon as interest rates stop falling and start moving up, Bitcoin topped out. So we went through an interesting period here where we actually had short-term interest rates rising and Bitcoin price rising. I think this is the kind of, if anything, okay, so I do like this thinking because it lines up nicely with our next sort of analysis. I think that, falling interest rate environment, as soon as that stopped, right, and you can see rates are basing and then moving higher, boom, Bitcoin bull market done. And I think that's what we're going to go through right now. So it's hard to see, but in essence, you can sort of see it happening now. You see that W, see how it's trying to W out here and start getting it going. It's awfully hard to see because this has been such a big move down. Probably the easy way for you to understand this too, and this is totally off topic. I don't know. Are you guys enjoying this? Is this of any value, or should I head back to crypto?
I think it's good.
Okay, so that Derek voted for everybody. Way to go, Derek. So interesting here. This, I think, is the period where we are getting off the zero line. And in a weird sort of way, it's sort of like through this part of the market, and I don't know whether you remember, right? This is when Obama was still president. And we were still sort of recovering from the financial crisis. We were still, you could argue, we were still in the crisis. But at some point, the Fed kind of goes, look, we believe that the economy is strong enough to start warranting higher short-term interest rates. But the market doesn't believe it. And you go through this sort of period of like weaning the crack addict off of the crack. And that's in essence what that is. You can see the market base, this is the short-term interest rates by the Fed, the market base, the market starts accepting, okay, they're raising rates. And then you get into this kind of environment where, okay, well, we're no longer crack addicts. Life isn't so bad. It's actually good to be kind of off the juice. And this is the natural bull market right in here. So then we said, the Fed is raising interest rates. The economy is expanding. Everything's going hunky-dory. Then they get into sort of a period where, okay, maybe we've expanded enough. Maybe it's time we cool it. Oh no, there's a little bit more raising to do. And usually, ironically enough, it's through this kind of environment that you cause things like yield curves to invert. And anybody who takes our education program, that's a super important concept for us to try and teach the new people to trading, is this idea that the yield curve itself will actually dictate when the next recession comes. The Fed always goes too far. It's their job. I thought it was hilarious through this entire sickness crisis. Anytime the Fed was asked, what do you think is going to happen next? They literally got it exactly wrong every single time. You would think that the public at some point would go, what's the point in asking you what you think's going to happen? The market's going to do exactly opposite to whatever you say. And this is the number one reason why Alan Greenspan, he was the U.S. Fed Reserve chairman, the FOMC chairman, for a very long time. And there was a reason for it. It's because he never said anything. His facial expression never changed. He said as little as possible. Everything that he said was written in sort of prepared statements, well ahead of the fact, and he never sort of let on to what he thought was going to happen. Because frankly speaking, I've told all of you, I tell you in the public, this is a guy who's been at this damn game for 30 fucking years. You cannot predict the future. Don't even try. It's not worth it. It's a waste of time. Anyway, all right, that was a long rant that really got us nowhere. Anyway, so why is it that actually the Fed even starts raising rates here? And why is it that there's this sort of crack addict kind of reaction from the market? I actually think the answer is that the Fed doesn't actually control the short-term interest rate market. You think that they do, and when push comes to shove, if they have to act and support the market, they can. But in reality, actually, this is the short-term interest rate market. It's called the Euro-dollar futures market. And this is basically the corporate short-term interest rate market. So if we just minimize Bitcoin for a moment, you'll notice these curves actually look slightly different, eh? You notice that actually, remember we had said the Fed here was raising rates, then they were lowering rates. Then they put in a base. Remember, Bitcoin topped out here, I guess right up in this area. Where was that? Well, I guess I put that back on. Sorry. Yeah, right up in here, Bitcoin topped. There's where they started raising rates, and Bitcoin had to come down while they were going through this. So what you'll hopefully notice is that here is the euro-dollar market. If we do the same logic, we're going to go 1 over to actually get the interest rate. That's the price of the product. If we go 1 divided by, then we actually get the interest rate. There it is. And actually, these are the guys that actually drive the interest rate market. Yeah, you hear people like Powell say, oh, no, the U.S. Federal Reserve sets interest rate policy. But in reality, it's this corporate interest rate market. And can you see how the Fed kind of has no choice? As soon as this thing starts turning up, the Fed has to follow suit. They have no choice. Is it the tail that wags the dog? Is it the dog that wags the tail? Tough to say. Point here is the Fed cannot be perceived as getting behind this relationship. If they do, then actually that's what starts things like the Great Financial Crisis. Where, and actually I'm a bit surprised. Oh, maybe because this only has Bitcoin on it? Yeah, it must be. If I put in like just IBM, just to show you illustration purposes. There is your financial asset crisis, right? And this is, you can literally see that the teal line is our corporate interest rate market, and the orange line is the U.S. Federal Reserve. So you can actually see if these spreads get too far apart, then all hell breaks loose. So the Fed has to follow the corporate interest rate market, even though most of the public rhetoric believes that the government can actually control the interest rate market. I don't believe that. I think ultimately it's up to the market. So the question ultimately is what's going on right now? And are we going to get into one of those situations where the market is actually telling the Fed it has to raise rates, which means we're going to go through one of those things where the market is addicted to the crack and we have to be weaned off of the crack, which means maybe we need a year or two of calming down in the market. So you notice pretty wide spread. This is our great financial crisis. The interesting thing about this, it doesn't really look very crisis-ish here, but the rule is if this gets more than 1 point, it's called the TED spread. In fact, actually, we could even do that here. It's supposed to be, TED is supposed to stand for Eurodollars. So we'll use the Fed funds, and then we want to divide that by TED. The ED is the Eurodollar, but we're going to use GE. So this now becomes ZGED? Tread? I don't know. TED spread doesn't work anymore, but anyway, that's what we used to call it for years and years and years. But in essence, this spread here, basically, if this gets above 1.0, then we are basically officially in crisis. And if we, how do I do this? What have I done here? Trying to, I think that's it right there. Maybe I gotta do a new pin to scale. Let's go new one, new scale. Maybe do it on the left. Why is that in percentages? Where the hell is this thing? Guess it's up there. Regular. Okay. I think I got it here. This is messy. Sorry, everyone. In fact, you know what? Here, let's do it a little differently. We're going to move. There. Okay, so this is the spread between these two. And as we said, if it gets to greater than 1.0, we got a problem. Oh, that's not good. Geez, did it jump up? Oh, no. What's going on here? Oh, I've divided it. This should be a minus, not... bear with me here a second. Come on, you. I know I'm supposed to be talking crypto. Hang in there. Settings. Oh, God, what have I done? Actually, here, I should be able to just do it up here, shouldn't I? Ted. All right. Okay. Phew. So, great financial crisis, 2008. You see this TED spread went absolutely ballistic up here. And this actually was, this was the war on terror, right? So there's 9/11, and then the subsequent war. They declared, war on Afghanistan, and one after what's his face in Iraq. This is the great financial crisis. You see, there is 1.0. So you can't let this thing get beyond 1.0. That's a major, major no-no. So, following the financial crisis, market settles back down. Interesting, this is basically right in here is the exact opposite. This was, in essence, the world was swimming in too much liquidity. So that was right in here. And actually, this is all this area in here was when the yield curve started to go inverted. So there is our initial crisis following the sickness, and shouldn't we debate mortgaging our future? Cranked up. Market got what it needed, lots of liquidity, everything calmed back down, but look what's happening. So we're starting to climb back up, and what this means to me is that the Fed's hands are actually tied. The Fed can let this work its way up, but if we start getting up into that 100, then we're going to get all fucking hell breaking loose. So we gotta, and we got this inverted head and shoulders. So I think the writing's on the wall that the short-term interest rate market is actually starting to rise here, right? There are our corporate rates. There's the Fed funds. They're trying to keep them as low as long as possible. The corporate interest rates are already starting to ratchet up. And I think that the market is going to basically tell the Fed, you have no choice. You have to start raising rates. And if they don't, then you might actually see the currency start to come under pressure. So we'll see what happens. But I think the writing's on the walls that this interest rate cycle, remember we said last interest rate cycle, and it was a muted one, right? So 2013, 14, what did it look like when it started working its way higher? Looks sort of like this. 2014, 2015 was kind of a shitty time in crypto. We started getting going in earnest to the upside. So actually, maybe we can even... what happens if I do this? Probably going to lose this symbol. Oh, yeah, darn. So there was 13... I guess that's your 17 big blow off top into there. I think that the Fed went too far here. Engineered, really, I think you could argue, remember like we said, Mr. Trump was barking about rates being too high. I think in essence, we had the sickness crisis, of course, that sort of, made them play their hand. As soon as they brought rates right back down to the bottom, the new bull market can start. We're starting to get now the corporate interest rate market starting to turn back up. So I would be leery about expecting too friendly of a Fed, because the Fed can't let this spread get too far apart. If it does, like I said with TED spread, you could get yourself in a bit of trouble, a la great financial crises. And we really don't want that. I know it sounds like fun, but no, that's in essence, all the crap that we have about the hyperinflation that we're in right now. if they let another one of these great financial crises happen and they don't go and dilute the shit out of the currency again and say, well, you know what, we've gone too far, we can't do any more dilution like that, then that means Great Depression. So if anything, you kind of want the Fed to just manage their way through this. And now what we really need to see, and who knows how long it's going to take, but now we have to watch for this euro-dollar market to calm down and actually roll over. And I think that this trend is just getting started, folks. My hunch is we actually have a clue when this should actually finish, and that is the Benner cycle. And again, this is an excellent testament to Josh, because it turns out there's actually a guy who lived a couple hundred years ago who actually basically laid the path of the capital markets for like literally 200-300 years going out into the future. And literally, I mean, this has been damn accurate. And you know, whether you guys like it or not, and this is the whole point of where I'm going to with all this, is I can start to see the anecdotal evidence lining up. Now, where the hell did that damn Benner chart go? Remember, it was just right up at the top here. I mean, like, Josh does such a great job with all these. There. Oh, nope, that isn't it. Damn it. Where the hell is it? It was in here somewhere. Anyway, and I always do this, man. I build up to this great climactic statement. And I want to show you this, and then I can't find the damn picture. Anyway, it's around here somewhere. Mr. Benner lived a couple hundred years ago, and I've shown you guys this image a few times. I mean, I was absolutely blown away. There it is. When to make money in the markets, and you can see 2023 is a down period. So I actually like the idea of the Fed actually spending the next year or two. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. I think it probably happens somewhere about the first or second quarter of 2022. But they're going to, you can literally see it. And that's the whole reason why I went down this silly rabbit hole, is that you can't argue that the market's not telling you that this is about to happen. I mean, guys, what do you think? Nick? Derek? Like, look at that. Do you understand what I'm trying to get across to you guys here?
Yeah, definitely.
Derek, what do you think?
Yes.
Does it make sense what I'm saying?
It makes sense. It's just hard to, I don't know, to believe it when you see.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right?
So believing it is like seeing it, like you just laid it out. It makes sense, but like I guess the
proof of the pudding's in the eating, right? So what that means is that, and what am I doing? Basically, I'm saying, well, the next couple of years are going to be shit. So what does that mean? That means the only way I'm vindicated is if I run into you a couple of years from now, and hope to God you're still on the site and you haven't blown yourself up. But I could go, Derek, what do you think? Does it make sense what I said now? I mean, that's the only way I'm going to be able to be vindicated with this, which sucks. So, but anyway, so another piece of anecdotal evidence to help you understand why I think that the Benner cycle plays the way that it does is this is short-term interest rates, not really something that people in crypto are too sort of even give a shit about. But I definitely think when it comes to risk assets, and you know, whether you guys like it or not, I definitely think Bitcoin, equity, and things like commodities that are used like oil, I think they're actually all the same thing. They're all risk assets. You could bury your head in the sand and go buy a lump of gold. It'll just sit there. You can buy a U.S. government guaranteed U.S. Treasury bond and get paid nothing. Or you can go buy the yen and bury your head in the sand because that economy is basically contracting for like 30 years straight. So I like to think of these as, you know what, there is no growth in the world at all. So I'm going to go buy a lump of gold and just bury my head in the sand. Or, no, you know what, there's some growth. Let's go out and fucking make something. Let's do something. Okay, you could buy equity. Gotta say, man, crypto equity has been a great investment. You could buy Bitcoin itself, and of course, you know, my panel co-hosts here, they've had a great old time. I think. I don't know, Derek, have you participated too much in this DeFi market?
Not so much. Yeah, I kind of missed out on the whole spring run. I've kind of got more interested after the fact, I guess. So I've been
All
trying
right.
to get more knowledgeable and things like that since then. But yeah, I missed that whole spring DeFi season.
If I remember correctly, Nick, I think you bought one of my Bibles with some crypto winnings. Have you finished? Because you bought the big Gann book, and then it told you to go and read a couple other books. So did you finish reading those other books yet?
I have finished one of the two, and the other one is literally sitting just off screen now. So
okay.
I'm piecing my way through that.
So I think you participated in this DeFi space a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, still am very heavily.
All right, cool.
I plan on farming with some stable coins as long as it has a yield.
Well, and that's the big $64,000 question, isn't it? I did notice that, like Luna, for example, as just one of our examples. Geez, this market. I tell you, if it isn't one of these sexy, oops, actually that's a stock, isn't it? If it isn't one of these sexy DeFi names, man, it's tough for your name to. Well, actually, even this guy's coming off a bit now. But I mean, the worst part about that is that. Would it be healthy for this thing to just keep going up at this kind of rate? I don't think so. I think that's wholly unhealthy. So, I mean, the kick in the pants, and of course, everybody on the site that's in this, you're going to hate me for saying this, but what would be a very natural place for this thing to correct to? And actually, this is absolutely perfect WD Gann. Why do I say that that's absolutely perfect WD Gann, Nick? Any ideas?
I don't know why that would be perfect Gann.
Wow, Derek, maybe I should ask you.
I don't know.
Well, Mr. Gann, what he actually suggests you do is you actually take the high and you add it to 0 and you divide by 2. So, interestingly enough, that 50% level is almost exactly that because this thing basically started at 0. So, it's just kind of when I drew on the 50% rule and I noticed that this high was right around $100 and the 50% level is basically right around 50. It's number one, if this thing is natural and it's healthy and it's normal and it just acts the way normal organisms act in our universe, then odds are we got to come back to this 50% rule. Really, really simple stuff. If you're sitting at home and you're kind of like, yeah, but how does he do it so quickly? I mean, you can use these drawing tools, but the way that I was taught to do this back when I used to get my price charts in the mail is you're just going to take this low number, whatever the heck it is, and then you're going to take this high number, whatever the heck this is, and you can do this anywhere. And to get the 50% rule, all it is just high plus low divided by 2. It's that simple. So, like people get all wrapped up in things like fibs and, what's a 78.6 retracement? God. Try figuring that out in your head while you're standing in the pit trying to out-scream another guy to get filled on orders. Oh, wait a minute. I got to figure out what the hell the sine wave of the hypotenuse of the square root of the tangent is first. Oh, sell! Anyway, so, there's a really good one where you're just tuning in, you listen to this crazy nut blabbing away about whatever he's going on about, and you're like, man, I sure would love it if I could tune into like crypto Twitter or crypto YouTube. Is that what it's called? Is it called crypto YouTube? That doesn't sound right.
I hear of it more thought of as just crypto Twitter, CT, but then, yeah. I mean, there's also crypto YouTube.
Anyway, point is just simply... there's actually a free little piece of value that you can actually walk away from this video going, gee whiz, actually you taught me something that I can actually use. And you can do it in any market. It doesn't matter. US dollar index, right? I just grabbed anything. I want to know what the 50% rule of this range is. That's what, 89.20. And this high here roughly is 96.30, so 89.20 plus 96.93 there. Add together, divide by 2, boom, you get your 50% rule. And anybody can do it anywhere, any place. And as somebody on YouTube says, yeah, and then you could also just take the fib tool and draw that out. But actually, ironically enough, Mr. Gann wouldn't like you calling that a fib tool because it's not a fib. You're never going to find a fib ratio that is exactly 50%. It doesn't exist. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. Hopefully I gave you a few things to think about there with regard to short-term interest rates. I mean, we could spend a little bit of time talking a bit about where we expect to see the coin go. The only problem here is that if I sit here and say, well, I don't really see it going up, then really people just tune out instantly. So, unfortunately, guys, I hate to say it, I don't really see it going up. But hopefully that didn't totally derail us. You can see we're coming... Actually, this is a really good lesson in trading ranges here. But also, this is a really crappy chart, man. My charts are just turning into messes, aren't they? Let's just do a brand new chart. Boom. And boom. And move up. Come on, you. There we go. There we are. Okay, so price action wise, I mean, it was encouraging that we made a new high there. So at some point down the road, I do expect that high to be tested. It's just what markets do. I mean, how long does it take? I mean, hell, you see how long that took to get back up there. How long that took to get back up there after it swung down. So, could it take a while to get back up here? Sure. I mean, predicting what's going to happen in the future, I think, is a mug's game. I'll just simply say, like, direction-wise, I think probably the easiest way for you to think about this is markets never really move in sort of one step. Usually what markets do is they do like a A to B, and then they consolidate to sort of relieve either overbought or oversold conditions. And then there's a sort of a second C to D kind of leg. Now, where does that come in? Maybe it's C to D like that. And we come down here. Maybe this is the rally peak and it's C to D like that. Very hard to predict. I would say that the very first thing that we should do is if we're sort of trying to figure out, I do like that as that should actually, in my opinion, be used as a pivot benchmark going forward. Probably when we're doing reload zones and stuff going forward, we either use that low or that low. But in essence, I think that is basically your base now. So very first thing I would suggest you do is do good old Ray Burchett's 38.2. Oops. Study. Oh, come on, you. We had longtime site members. They used to like to call it Ray Barbecues level. Where we had a guy, Thomas, on the site for a long time. I used to always call it that. Also, too, actually, I think the gentleman that referred Nick to TRI, Colin, he really liked using the 38.2 along with the 50% rule. So the two of them in conjunction, and he liked to call it his pump chaser zone. So if I was thinking about buying, but I didn't want to like panic buy in, kind of like this rally, you see big rally up. I just want to wait for the fluff of the market to be taken off, and then any kind of buy signal Now that we've come back down into Collins pump chaser zone, 38.2 to 50%, it's not a bad reloading event. So you could argue, boom, there we are. So we just dipped in, tagged 38.2, and now we're up above here again. I like the idea of us swimming around down in here. That's not a terrible idea. And as we sort of said there earlier, A, B, C, D, that's going to take us down into here. I wouldn't be surprised, considering the Benner cycle, considering the way short-term interest rates are looking here. I don't know. It just feels to me like there's probably about 2 or 3 moves going on here. So I do like that it looks like there's a bit of a head and shoulders. And of course, it's a very cockeyed neckline, so it's not really textbook, but something along those lines. So that means if we do lose these levels, nice stab into here, you'll see that that head and shoulders starts working away. Interesting thing is that the market could work its way up here. I've seen that happen before, and then it breaks the neckline. And so that distance from there to there is projected there to there, something like that. So, I mean, I don't really have any signal to do anything here right now. As we're sort of going through I would just actually call this a very natural, healthy correction following a push to new highs. And believe it or not, actually, this could very easily be a trend continuation setup. For trend continuation, I need to see at least 33% retracement. So then that way it looks symmetrical. So that's something along these lines. I think I've shown this to you guys before. So 33, but no more than 66. So we have met that. So theoretically now, I mean, we might. I doubt it, but who knows? Like I said, I don't think it's in anybody's interest to predict the future. You just don't know what the fuck's going to happen. But you can always set yourself up that if you see setups, well, you can take a trade and, appropriate risks, live with the results. So you can see there, that thinking that markets move in A, B, C, D. So this might just be one big move, A to B. Then we might see like a consolidation, one low, at least 33%. Then I get another low. Then I get another low. If I can start seeing this kind of price action where I'm making higher highs and higher lows kind of idea, then actually that sets up what I like to call a trend continuation trade, which might justify me actually acting here. It's not out of the question. You can see how high that would take us. That would take us up over 100 up there. I don't know what this correction consolidation is going to look like. But, like I said, if we get 3 higher lows and I get like W's, 2 W's in a row is perfect. Well, that starts setting up a trend continuation. So I'll keep my eyes open for that. I'm not going to discount it and say it's not going to happen because, frankly speaking, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in the future. None of us do. So, if we go, boom, there we go. So, you can see my fancy drawing. I'm getting pretty good at eyeballing that. And actually, what I usually like to do is take the W that's slightly ahead of the 25 level, and it's what's called front-running the trade. In essence, then that way, if we move stop to scratch, then I get stopped out on a pullback to scratch. But because I got in a little bit ahead of the entry level, actually, I make a little bit of money and cover my costs and stuff. So that might be in the works. That would mean that we're going to have to take a good 6-8 months or so to consolidate and set a base for our next move up. And it might just be that, this latest variant has everybody all freaking out. And we go back into markets melting down. They have to start closing down economies. And shouldn't we debate mortgaging? Shut the fuck up. And all that kind of nonsense again. And the goddamn thing bottoms and woohoo, away we go. That can very easily happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. All I'm going to say is it's our job as traders just to react. So if you start to see this thing consolidate now that it's done 33 and we start painting 3 higher lows, you know Beamish is going to come out going, hey, look, I got bullish spots setting up. Time for us to start thinking along. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it means that I got to act because I'm a trader and I trade the bot. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. Really good example of this actually in real time. Probably a really good tell that we're still in this current sort of crisis nonsense. Lumber proxies. So I'm a big fan of one particular stock here in Canada, Resolute Forest Products. I'm long a bunch of this stock. And you can see, hopefully, the same sort of thing here. So, I don't know whether you've been watching what lumber has been doing in our society. But it's been kind of going crazy. And, of course, these guys own a bunch of lumber. So, as a result, what do I want to do here? I want to go reverse. All right, and then we'll go clone. Pick that guy up. And we'll go bot trade. Boom. So, you can see what this guy's doing. So, there is one that happens to be working away. And I got 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows, 4 lows. Pretty good looking little breakout here. Look at it, just going nuts here. Another example, especially if Mr. Biden gets his infrastructure bill passed, I'm a big fan of copper, and I think copper could do the same sort of thing. So you see, this is an example of that there. I mean, these are ridiculously huge moves, eh? And hopefully you're kind of seeing, well, gee whiz, kind of looks like Bitcoin's doing the same sort of thing. This one, I don't know whether I'd use the whole range or not. But if I go, I think I was measuring it off of that low. So 33, no more than 60%. But look how many lows we got here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, they're just low after low after low. So this is an example of that exact same sort of hunting setup in the copper business. Something along those lines. Trying to sneak our way in there. Looking for a move up top. And actually I'm interested, showed you earlier that Taiwan ETF. Well, what a surprise. Brian's interested in Taiwan Semiconductor. And gee whiz, there's that formation again. Do you guys kind of see the repetitive pattern here?
Yep.
Yeah, can you see that, Derek?
Yep.
Cool. Could we see the same thing happen in Bitcoin? Sure. Wouldn't be a surprise. Anyway, I won't go through all the levels, but hopefully you can see the repetitive theme. And actually, there's even a few cryptos that look even better than Bitcoin in here. And I might even argue, I'm sorry I'm talking way too much, but I might even argue that even something like Ethereum, I don't know where the best place to look at this is, versus USD, Binance. Hey, there we go. No, actually, you know what? Forget it. Oh,
yeah, ETH's chart has not looked good the last few weeks.
I was thinking maybe, but no, that's pushing it. There was a couple of these DeFi names though that actually look.
You can take a look at Sol versus ETH.
Sol versus ETH. All right.
Yeah.
This is going pretty esoteric now. SOLETH like that.
That's
Oh no, that's not gonna do it.
well, not the weekly, not on the weekly, on the daily.
I'm just that's what I'm trying to see. Like, there's a couple of these. It was one of these I seem to recall, and I was pretty. There it is. So
Solana versus ETH should have a decent chart.
No, that looks a little bit more than 66, doesn't it? But there was one of these I thought that actually I was like, you know what, that looks pretty darn good. Can't remember which one it was though. Oh well, there was one of these DeFi names. I was pretty impressed with it. Anyway,
I guess I was looking at that on Huobi.
could be. Oh, and so I don't know. This is a bit of a stretch because I'm not really a big fan of looking at the. Oh, okay, there you go. So Derek, yep, you're vindicated. Right on. Looking at these things, one cryptocurrency versus another. I don't know. I'm not really the biggest fan of doing that, but I think he's right here. I think you got something. So if anything, the boys are doing their job, keeping the old man honest here. So if we went something like that, and then something like that, and then we went something like that. So we got 1, 2. Actually, if you got a cute, and we got like a down bar here, so if we could get a little bit more weakness, and then a perk up, right up through there, nice double bottom, be able to front run that trade, not bad. And that would be looking for this move up top. And actually, a good way to sort of validate that is to go boom, boom. And probably we hit that objective right up into here, if that happens. If that's what the gods so wish. Now, interesting with this one is you could probably actually also time your purchase here too, eh? So notice, boom, boom, boom. So there's 3 tags of that line. So if anything, you'd love to see a pullback. Best case scenario, keep in mind this is a weekly chart. Best case scenario here, I think, would be to actually have this thing come back down, break out, then put in like something like that, eh? Or maybe even another W or something. All right, how many lows do you want? But maybe even something like that. That would be totally awesome. So you can see the consolidation is starting to happen. If anything, do you get it, Derek, that I really like for us to wait for these consolidations before we take the trades?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. It's so important. So, if anything, good example, we'd probably see exactly the same thing here, right? There to there. So 1, 2, 3. Give me, actually, I do like this. Notice coming back on the trend line from the other side, perked up, went back down, broke out. So can you see that right down in there? Probably, yeah. Oh, look at that. This is textbook. Has anybody ever written a textbook on how to trade? Yeah. So look at that fight right along that trend line there. Wow, what a fight. Do you have the balls just to pull the trigger on this W? It's not a bad level. So especially that look at that doji, eh? So that was clearly the fight candle right there. So if we could resolve back above through the top of that doji, away we go. I think I'd be willing to take a shot on that W. That's a pretty good looking W there. I like that. It would have been ballsy. If anything, I probably would have said, you know what, I'm going to risk that. And I'll risk against these lows here. But that's pretty good. So that's, take a screenshot of that. Great Del Moody, I think that's that guy's name. That's right down your alley, man. Take a screenshot of that, put it in your book. Make $1 million off me. I'm more than happy to see that happen. So, anyway, interesting conversation there. So maybe just give this a bit of time to break out here. I think it's still a bit early. Go there, and there, right? So let this thing break out. But not bad. I mean, at least it's consolidating. I've heard a lot of people, over the years say, the easiest thing you can do if you're trading is just wait for the consolidation. Don't touch it when it's face ripping. Just wait for the consolidation. So, all right. Anything in particular either of you two would like to look at? Nick, did you see Farm yesterday? What did Farm do?
Farm went crazy yesterday.
Farm. Is that FARM?
Yep, just Farm. It was up. It was like a 200% day or something.
That's nice. Oh, that's cute. Is any letter of the alphabet that we kind of like down here? It's bizarre how I got my something. I've done something weird here. There we go. Gee whiz. Nice W. So that's basically what. Now, I mean, here's the thing, right? You might go, well, isn't this a W over here? And it turns out that was just a bit early. Was there like a fundamental driver or something that caused this to break out?
I don't know. There were a couple of them that just went crazy in the last couple of days. I didn't catch a fundamental driver for farm, but I did see the price action when it was happening.
Is this more of your crypto Cobain guy sort of manipulating the markets here?
I don't think so. Oh, I never said that. I don't think that is necessarily what happened. I just
was
think
that politically incorrect to say? Sorry if it was.
I don't know. He might have enough money to be able to do that, but
no, I think he has plenty of money to do that if he wants.
No, it's a DeFi name. It's on ETH and Binance, and I think it's on Matic. It actually may have just went live on Matic. Maybe that's why it went up.
All right. Interesting. Check this out. Boom. Boom. Oh, didn't quite hit that. I thought it was like, wow, that was almost a perfect tag. Not quite. I wonder if that's what they were going for. Interesting. I wonder if we could apply some foggy buggies to this. I bet this up here was a fog and bomb level. Zoop. Zoop. And boop. Oh, nailed it. Isn't that incredible? Oh, it kills you. You know what? I actually saw this in crude oil today. I couldn't believe it. I even put a tweet out. I could not believe what they did here in crude today. This was absolutely remarkable. But this move right here, watch this. I mean, it's just crazy when you do this stuff. That's nuts. I don't know. If you're not a fan of 4.669 before seeing that, I sure hope you are a fan now, because, man, it's just insane how these damn 4669s work. Actually, you know what? You want to see a really cool one? Check this out. I think it hit today. But I think this was 877. Yeah, look at that. Doink. Just nailed it. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was like a bigger. And I don't know, maybe it was off of this. This is what I'm still sort of scratching my head over, is how do you interpret when they do these little FU moves? I mean, do you go back to there? Notice how up in that area, see how 4669, maybe you have to go off of that area. Look at that, eh? Damn. It's ridiculous. There's actually one that did it earlier. It was, what the hell is the name of that one? IMIN. This is what absolutely convinced me that I had to use these fog and bomb levels going forward. I think it might have been off of this one. Yeah. I actually placed my order to sell at 83 cents and I got filled at 83. Isn't that incredible? If you're not a fan of this shit before, you will be. It's just stunning. And I actually got filled right up top there. And it made no sense. While you were watching the price go up here, I can guarantee you, even the guys at the company, they couldn't understand what the hell was going on here. The algorithms were just going absolutely insane here. And the price just kept getting pushed higher and higher and higher. And it's like, where the fuck, what's going on here? And then it went up, it filled me, and then literally it tagged the level and just collapsed. It was ridiculous. So if you're not a fan of Foggies before, I would strongly suggest you subscribe. And actually look at what's happening here. So technically, we should be able to go boobity boop, boobity boop. Like that. So probably a revisit of 39 is not a bad idea. So,
you can almost get a double right there on the 2.618 too.
27 and a half from 13. Oh, yeah, you could. The only thing I don't like about this guy is I hate when they leave these gaps like this. This might be a big fuck you. I mean, I would ideally like to be long. And remember, I don't know whether you know this story or not, but the directors, like, this is a company that I actually did another deal with the guy who's running this company. I did a deal with him back 2003. I mean, very honorable gentleman, but he's a VSC stock promoter, so you better be careful with these guys. And there's actually news out that the options to directors were at 6.5 cents. So this has me a little bit leery here. I don't like coming in on these kind of stories after the fact. I love this down here. There's a big rally. Woohoo! So they bring it right back down against the original bottom. W's. Look at there's even a nice little FU against these lows. We knew that the insiders were long from 6.5. So didn't have a problem being long here. Here, you might actually see the damn thing fall in half. And especially considering that this guy is an Ethereum miner. And you guys aren't overly impressed with Ethereum's price chart right now, right? So, anyway, the reason why I mentioned this was just that damn Foggenbaum level. I mean, it's just insane. So, all right. What else should we look at? Anything else? I hope this Akasha gets its act back together again. Here's one where you could look at this and you kind of see an inverted head and shoulders here. So there's a neckline, shoulder, head, back to neckline, maybe a shoulder here. Let's hope these lows hold in there. And if that's the case, and this thing turns back up, you can start drawing your foggy buggies, and you can start seeing upside objectives. So there's actually a good application of that Foggenbaum concept ahead of the fact. This hasn't actually even fired. Nothing's happened here. But you can kind of anticipate what will happen if it does fire. And really, this is everything that we teach. What do we say is sort of our knee-jerk targeting tool that we teach all level 1ers? Let's see if anybody can answer this. 100? No, not 100.
No, I was responding to Adam's comment.
Derek, what's the knee-jerk tool that we use to come up with price objectives?
I've always used Foggenbaum.
Well, Foggenbaum, actually, I don't even teach this yet in the course.
I'm just playing. 50%?
Yeah. So, what do you think the odds are? This 4669 is right around somewhere. I'm going to bet that it's like right in between. 38.2 is like here, and 50% is right here. I bet. Let's see. Oh, actually, that's what this is. Right? So, here we go. We'll do the call-in pump chaser zone. I even have it as a template here. Boom. Oh, look at that. Yay, that's one of those mic drop things, right? Is it? Yeah, it's about 2 hours. What the fuck? So, I mean, you can see whatever that. Oh, this is a Luna product, right?
This is Cosmos.
Akasha? I thought I remember. This has nothing to do with Luna?
I don't think so. I think it's
Luna is technically also a Cosmos project.
Oh, all right. There you go. Oh.
But
okay. There's some people over on YouTube that want us to look at stuff, so maybe
Adam's been asking for power the entire episode.
Adam, POWR.
Yeah. I don't know anything about this one, but
I know they were
Ledger.
Yeah, Binance.
Yeah, they were around during the last 2017-18. I got in their ICO. They're basically a I guess you can trade power like energy credits. Like so if you have excess energy, somehow you can sell it through their chain, and then so they've had a couple of I guess different pilot programs with some different countries and regions and that type of thing that have went pretty well. I'm surprised that they haven't gained more traction because it seems like a pretty good idea. They're based out of Australia.
Oh, there we go. Australia. So how are we feeling about the great country of Australia these days? I know we have a couple people that are site members. I think they've actually left Australia recently, eh?
Yeah, it makes sense why they would maybe want to leave there.
A little bit chaotic down there, eh?
Yeah, it's a little bit of chaos.
Wow, that's quite a chart, eh? Excuse me. Sorry, everyone. Tea went down the wrong way. Let's try that again. There we go. Actually, Adam, interesting. I think this is the same Adam, if I'm not mistaken. If I say 61.8, Adam, how does that make you feel? I remember, let's see. Yeah, so this guy hasn't even gotten back to here. If this is the same Adam, I remember just as sort of a side story. Oh God, no, not this again. God, here we go. I gotta find something that's not all corrupted here that I can look at over a long period of time. All right, let's try Trex. What the hell? There we go. So, I remember when that happened. And I think this is the same Adam. He was a bit excited right around here. That event. So, interesting how this one is taking a hell of a long time to get going, eh? And all we can do here, it seems, is we just got back to calling Pump Chaser Zone. I'd actually say there's no reason why it can't do the same thing that that Bitcoin did up there. Same logic. Just eventually, hey? Just, I don't, you know, is there how do you figure out fundamental value on these things? That was the dump right there, right? When Bitcoin started its basing move. And so this guy was sort of marching along. And then somebody must have said something right here. Interesting how this is actually a really good example of that market symmetry concept too. So you probably heard me say before, you know, guys who came in and bought this rally here, and especially these guys that like totally FOMO'd this particular day. These guys, there's a whole bunch of people. Where do we say these people are sleeping there, Derek?
On the couch.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, unfortunately, a lot of us guys get into a lot of trouble with our egos, and we end up FOMOing, and then, you know, unfortunately, you have to tell the wife that you spent the Christmas money gambling in the market, and, that doesn't usually go over very well. So, you can just imagine that if price ever got back to that level, those guys, they so want to get out of there. And that's what I think happened there. Boom. Boom. Gotta get out. Interesting thing is that probably, I mean, hell, if you had the balls to step in off of the lows there and buy some, even average your way down, I mean, gee whiz, what kind of percentage move is that, eh? If we go percent. So let's start it from there.
They did recently announce that they were going to Solana.
1,700% increase. Gee whiz. That's a hell of a move. Did Bitcoin even do that?
Yeah, it did. Well, it bottomed right over 3,000, right? And it got up to 69. So it did about a 20x.
All right. So it's not the same atom. It's a different atom. So 20x. Well, that's not bad. I mean, gee whiz. If you had the balls to step in here, wowee, what a great trade. And the great part about this thing is if you had the balls, keep in mind, you got to have balls of steel in this game sometimes, and this is a good example. Gee whiz. I mean, I like the idea of just stepping back in and just don't even think about it. Just hold your nose and buy 78.6. And how ironic that really that would have been a killer fill there. You looked kind of foolish, but we dipped down to 88.6 and actually right back down against the original bottom. Here's a good example of that look left concept, eh? So we're coming screaming down. You see these tails, they banged into this tail. The market rallied back up, which is this move. Then it came back down, which is this right here. and then it went one more swim lower. You see that? So really good example. Look left. Where's this thing ultimately going to find support? Well, against all of these lows here, and that's exactly where it stopped. You want to make it easy, just buy 88.6. They always say that, in fact, there's a guy, Simon Dixon, who's really big on bank to the future, and I think Simon Dixon actually saved Bitcoin. Bitcoin was about to go under. The whole story was about to collapse, and then he saved the whole damn story. But nobody ever seems to talk about that, which I do find interesting. Anyway, he would always say, look, don't buy Bitcoin unless, this thing loves 70 to 80% corrections. 78.6, right? I mean, that's, how many times have I told you the damn things love to bottom off 78.6? But you want to get super cheeky, and you want to be super cheap ass. We used to call this the Lepra-Kavark level. Because Kavark would be 78.6. Lepra-Kavark, who was Ian, and he was a Irish chap who lived in Germany, and he used to fight with the German government every single time I talked to him. Just hilarious, these people that I meet over the years. I hope you're doing well, Ian, if you are out there in the world. But anyway, he used to always swear by 88.6. And I mean, wow, what a fill that would have been. Eh? You look like an absolute genius. So, interesting. This actually gives you, here is a really good example of that concept of weekly W's. So, coming in down in here, anywhere down in here, I wouldn't have a problem with that whatsoever. In fact, I'd look at that and I'd go, gee whiz, can I join you? Then what was really interesting about this is, like I said, just on balance, the easy way for you to look at the world, the life, everything, right, is just take the high plus the low, add it together, divide by 2. 50% rule. So believe it or not, this 50% rule has not been hit yet. I still think there's more upside to go with this thing. And if and when this thing really does get its act together, actually the technical target that I would have is probably 88.6 to the upside, which just so happens to be, Does Brian like candle body highs for trade location? Have you ever heard Brian talk about candle body highs for trade location? So
yes.
Thank you, Derek. So, ironically enough, actually, I would expect this thing to work its way all the way right back up to that level. But does it happen tomorrow? Who knows? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't ever really like to put a stopwatch on these things just because, if anything, this is a great example where if I had actually looked at this and seen how fast this happened, I would have actually thought that we would have hit that 50% roll somewhere around there. Kind of like I was showing you with that Bitcoin chart and how it worked its way up to 61.8. But clearly there was something standing in this thing's way through here. I can't remember what the story was in particular, but I seem to remember there was something about this, that there was some sort of controversy down here. And as a result, it just sort of languished. But I can't remember what the story is now. Anyway. So there you go. We just had a big swing. Another move to new highs. You can keep going back to the well repeatedly. You are asking for trouble how many times you go back to the well. But I suppose you could argue that there is an uptrend that's working probably off of there. So there to there to there to there. That looks like that was a pretty darn important day right in there. So, interestingly enough, that would be like bids down in that area there. And lo and behold, look who we have staring us in the face. So, interesting how this is actually the original W bottom. So, if we actually dip down into here and then jackknifed away, that would be our Benkoff check that we love to talk about so much. Right? Nice little check of the original bottom. And our level 1 instructor, Grim, he would actually say, I want to put my order right in this level right there. So, because that's the candle that actually really broke out. So that's where they actually started the bull, right there. So there you go. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Any others we should look at? What do you think? There's a bunch of people who are asking for stuff, eh? I hope you enjoyed that, Adam, and my apologies. I mixed you up with Adam and Sherry. Sure hope Sherry's doing well, and Adam, if you are watching this, all the best to your loved ones. I did take a quick look at that Ave earlier. It wasn't really that much. It's still working its way back down. This is one where if it can just calm down, if anything, do we have 3 higher lows kind of idea? Not really. I might even argue
that thing came down to the 786 though.
Yeah. So okay, so this is one of these situations where do you just plug your nose and just buy the damn thing just because it's a level? Now, this would be a good question for the boys. Do I teach that we should just really invest our money based off of one reason and one reason alone to take a trade?
No.
Yeah, and especially new people to trading. A guy who's been doing it for 30 years kind of idea. He's got a feel for it, and I'm more than happy to sit on something underwater for a while. I'm not going to freak out. I like the idea that you new people to trading let's sort of set you up so that you have the least amount of anxiety. In fact, actually, I've talked about this at length with our community of late. In the 2017-2018 bull, it was really easy for people to buy into the whole, you know what, I'm a little old lady, I can just buy something and forget about it, and I don't have to worry about it. And it's such easy investing, and oh my God, this is so easy. But it doesn't work that way. In fact, little old ladies often, it says right in the fine print of the advisory material, they should have a 3 to 5 year time horizon. It says it on every single piece of marketing material that comes out of all major brokerage houses. And 2018, 2019 happened, and most of those people that called themselves little old ladies, they were gone. It was great to see, I will say, as the market started to come back here over the past year or two. A lot of those little old ladies all started peering out of the woodwork going, hey, look, Brian, I'm back. I'm actually making money again. Woohoo, look at me. So congratulations for hanging on there. But I know a lot of them were kind of cursing my name under their breath because it turns out they never really were little old ladies. So be careful. If you are going to do the little old lady approach, then you have to understand if you buy this 78.6 as a little old lady, and that's not a bad level. I mean, you can see it looks like it hit it twice. But this thing might come down and just sit here for the next. I mean, you saw, what was that last one? The power, right? That power is a really good example of exactly what I'm talking about. Where, you might have done this fib here from this high back to this low. And there's Mountain Man there. There's 78.6. You buy this 78.6, just like Nick said. All right, I'm just going to go in and buy it. And look at what you had to go through. Just understand, a little old lady, that's like 1 year. Where is that? Man, well, it's about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years into this holding, and I'm still underwater, Brian. What the fuck? 3 to 5 years. All right. 4? Hey, I'm actually back making money. Oh, now I'm back underwater. Call my lawyer. But hopefully you can understand that you might find yourself in a position like this. So don't just blindly think, okay, well, I'm going to buy the what the hell was that one that we were just looking at?
Ave.
Isn't that weird? Why can I not go forward there? Anyway, that's weird. Just don't go and just buy an asset and just assume that it's going to do 88.6s and it's going to hold. And if you want to try and time your purchases a little bit better, so you're not sitting there for 3 to 5 years. 78.6s are fantastic level. The only problem with looking at a chart like this is I don't think that that's the whole price history. That's not all of it, is it?
It's actually probably not too far off. That is a weekly, though.
All right. Everything that we teach, everything that we say, let's go and do things like, since that high was a higher high, it's kind of suspicious there. But, even if you want to be conservative, and we'll even just go off of that high, can I start seeing some W's? Looks like we got a half decent level in here. Can I get a nice test of these lows? Could I get some indicator confirmation that, hey, this thing's actually stronger than what price would lead you to believe? We don't have that much price data here. So as a result,
there's 2 more years of just price at very close to zero.
Well, that's
and
fine.
That's pretty much the chart.
Which one should we look at?
Just doing the US dollar calculated on Binance. So take off the T for tether. And then that second one.
There you are. Okay. There you go. No, that's it. That's super important right there. If anything, who can read my mind? Let's see if anybody on YouTube can read my mind. Derek, can you read my mind? Do you know what I'm thinking right now when I just saw that and I just drew that line there? What am I thinking?
Something about running?
Close,
not longer to run? Or are you talking about
Yeah. Well, as soon as I see that, the very first thing that comes to my mind is the bigger the channel, the bigger the run. And the interesting thing is, and I haven't been able to figure out how to do this yet, these funny little charting sites. I think there is a way I can do this. I've tried to do this with you guys before, but it never works. But let's see if we go.
I think you did it last time, though. Somehow or maybe you draw a half circle or something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. So you know where I'm going with this. But anyway, you remember Verge? Verge was my funny one from last cycle. So there's your channel, and like literally, you should be able to take this rectangle if you can hold on to the same size. And I think like what we did was there's like I don't remember, there was like some, oh darn, I can't remember how we did this. It's like a funny, like a quarter circle thing. It's probably that thing there, but anyway, do you know what I'm talking about here, Nick?
Yeah, you did it just last week.
Is.
It's the projection. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So I don't know how this is gonna work, but anyway. Oh yeah, there we go. So oh yeah, that's pretty good. Something like that. Then the question is, does this need to be a log scale? It might, right? Which of course is gonna screw everything all right up. Oh come on, you. Anyway, roughly. And isn't that weird how it's sort of trying to lock in there? Anyway. So I was going for something like that, but clearly I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Anyway. I guess what I'm trying to say here is theoretically you should be able to take that distance of that where's the circle? Of this channel and then project this up, and it should almost exactly match like the height of the move. That actually is not surprising that it did that. So learn this, guys. Seriously. This is how you make fortunes in the market, right? Is you got to find these situations where these really, really, really long channels, then we break out to new highs. It holds the breakout and it moves to new highs. And then, oh boy, all hell could break loose. I mean, do you guys want to get rich? I mean, that's the whole point of this, right? All it takes is just one or two of these things, and it can be life-changing. So, anyway. Okay, what do you think, guys? It is now 1:15. Anything in particular over there on YouTube that you saw, Nick? Somebody was asking really nicely that we should look at something.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that people wanted, but it's getting a little late.
Okay. All right. Nick's going to call it.
Oh, sure. Make me the bad guy. We got to do our predictions, though.
What's that?
We got to do our predictions for next week.
Yeah, we got the important shit to do here. Okay, let's get to work. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation tonight. I love hanging with the boys. It's always fun. I've got a great crew Monday to Friday and the AM with my day trading group, and then the daily brief, and then we had Tuesday. We had the TRI SOF group. I did see Derek. You're coming out to that. Last night was a bit of a shorter meeting, but it was great to see you out. And I suppose Nick, I would love to see you participate in that group going forward. But we'll look forward to that. So, what do you think, boys? Are we bullish, bearish, or just don't give a shit?
I'm neutral.
Neutral, okay. Well, is that just don't give a poop? So here's Derek. So Derek took a week off, but he's going to report the big zero. Reporting. Nick, what do you think? Where are we going this week?
You know, I hate to do this. I think I'm going to do another one.
All right.
We're at the bottom of a range. We got some really weak non-third grade W bullish divergence in the 4-hour MACD. We got Willie and oversold. We got an inside bar reversal about to trigger here.
Is it?
I mean, on the 4-hour, but
on the corn?
Yeah, on the corn.
Up $300. Oh, that's not bad. Let's see what we got here. All right.
4-hour.
Oh yeah, this is the chart I've been talking to you guys off of lately. All right, so Nick's going to you think we might have a bit of an upswing here, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're at bottom of a range. We got some really oversold conditions. I can be wrong 2 weeks in a row. Let's go for a 1.
All right. All right. So this is a 4-hour chart. That means, and the interesting thing about this is it looks almost like Wednesday is almost like a mid pivot kind of day. Did you notice that last week? We were kind of like mid pivot, right? Meeting right. We weren't really at the bottom. We weren't really at the top. We were sort of in mid stream. Is that the case now? Are we sitting mid? And then, ironically enough, by next Wednesday rolls around, we've gone through the downswing and then back to the upswing? It's a tough one. Next Wednesday is actually going to put us full well into 2022, eh?
Yeah, it will.
So, question is, how does January barometer? I suppose we probably should have done January barometer, eh? Totally forgot about that. Maybe I'll have to be doing it. Probably I'll try and plan to do a January barometer presentation for Friday since it's the last day of the year. All right, so Nick's gonna call for an upswing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to join you. I like the only problem is I just don't know whether we're done on the down here just in the short term. So I think I'm not going to go for a full-on 1, but I'm going to go for a 0 because I think we have to go a little bit lower, then swing back to the upside. But it's going to, from our 46,000, this will be sort of a non-event. Like I wouldn't be surprised if in through that second week of January, we're back up at 50 Gs. That wouldn't surprise me. But I think we still have to go a little bit, like we still have to spend a few days just trying to find this bottom here in the short term. That's my 2 cents. All right. So Derek and I are both on the neutral, and I might even argue that we've been very sort of close to kind of neutral votes here a lot lately anyway, eh? Not really huge. I haven't seen like a +2 or a -2 from us. Maybe that means we're being conservative. I see Ben actually did a couple +2s.
And then it dropped $7,000.
Oh, oops. So, oh yeah, there you are. Whoops, way to go, Ben. So actually there was a pretty big drop there, eh? 69. And, well, Ben was right there, though. So, I guess he made some back. All right, so actually, I guess we also have some notes. You got to keep me honest here to keep an eye on these things. I guess we don't have
that's next week.
Okay, cool. So remind me to look at those then. Other than that, I think I had a great time working with you, gentlemen, as always. It's a lot of fun chatting. Still hope you get some value out of listening to my old funny rants, but I'm getting the impression you're enjoying yourself. Did you enjoy yourselves tonight?
Yeah, I had a good time. I learned something new every time.
Excellent.
Always.
Awesome. Okay, why don't we leave it at that? Pretty light viewership, but nonetheless, a lot of probably TRI old schoolers. I think it's a constructive conversation that we have here. So, all right. The only thing I'll say, lead off, like we said before, if you did find some value in this program, we're trying to put together this decentral booth. So we put together this little ETH wallet that's just specifically for this. I think we got about $100 $150 of contributions. So thank you very much for your contributions. Really appreciate it. And I suppose when we get to the point, either crypto backs off and the property gets cheap enough where we can go buy some, or you guys just absolutely fall in love with us and you donate a big chunk. But ultimately, I'll be looking to buy a plot of land with whatever you guys contribute to this. So thank you very much for your help in that regard. All right, I think we'll leave it at that. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. Pop on and take advantage of our 30-day trials to check out all the fun tools and trinkets that TRI's put together here. These advanced pages are actually membership-wise, but you can come on. 30-day trial does get the overview page. You can watch I wouldn't even be surprised if it's thousands of hours of daily brief videos and commentary. And also do check out Josh's awesome blog. Totally great stuff. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for your participation. Have yourselves a great rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And Nick, I don't think you've taken us out in a while. So if you want to do the honors, the only thing left for TRI to say at this point is...
Bye for now.